The movie begins with a man named Adrian Frank who was sentenced to 8 years in prison after committing a major robbery worth 2 million euros. At that time, Adrian was displaying a masterpiece made by his son in his cell room. Then, he was visited by his friend named Novik who used to rob with Adrian. Novik asked where Adrian kept the robbery money hidden, but Adrian did not want to tell Novik because he did not trust anyone.
Tu peux mettre des potes à moi sur le coup? Y'a que toi qui sais où tu l'as planqué ce putain de fric. Ils protégeront le cash jusqu'à ce qu'on sorte. Qu'ils sortent d'ici dans un cercueil? Ouais.
In prison, Adrian has a cellmate named Lewis who is in prison for rape charges. Soon 2 warders come to make fun of Lewis and call him a pervert. Lewis, of course, did not accept their mockery because he was only accused and slandered.
Ça, mon pote, fallait y penser avant de sauter sur cette fille.
Je peux y aller?
Later that night, Adrian accidentally found Lewis's notebook, and after he read it, Adrian felt sorry for Lewis, who he thought was innocent. As soon as the 3 men entered, they immediately asked Adrian to come out so they could more freely harass Lewis. Stood in front of the door. It seemed that the 3 men had already paid money to the warden to let them into the cell where Lewis was staying. Adrian, who could not stand to hear the groaning sound of Lewis in pain, finally decided to stop the lecherous actions of the 3 men and fight them all. As a result, a fight between Adrian and the 3 inmates ensued.
Tu veux participer ou quoi?
Ramène-toi, ils sont en train de merder grave là.
Adrian almost died from being strangled by the 3 inmates, but fortunately, the guards managed to prevent them and immediately broke up the fight.
T'aurais jamais dû te mêler de ça.
A visit from their respective wives. During the meeting, Adrian's wife, Anna, asked him about the place where Adrian had hidden the stolen money. But Adrian chose not to tell Anna because he still couldn't trust his wife. During the visit, Anna also took their daughter into prison because she missed her father so much. Adrian was initially annoyed with Anna because he didn't want his little girl to see him as a prisoner, but he couldn't contain his longing and immediately carried his daughter into his lap.
Tu me manques tellement.
Vous aussi, vous manquez.
Meanwhile, Lewis's wife tells Lewis that their lawyer is doing their best to get him released immediately. The family of the victim, who previously sued him, has dropped all their demands. While the inmates were watching the show, which is usually held every month, Adrian was suddenly attacked by another inmate using a screwdriver. The man threatened Adrian to tell him where Adrian had hidden the stolen money. It is known that the man will soon be released from prison, so he wants to snatch the stolen money from Adrian. However, because Adrian was not willing to tell the location, the man immediately pierced Adrian's ear with a screwdriver until he fainted. Adrian was treated at the prison health clinic and was unconscious for 3 days. When Adrian came to his senses, Lewis was sitting beside Adrian. Lewis reports that today he has been released because all his charges have been dropped. Other day, from another inmate attack. Therefore, Lewis gave Adrian his phone number and offered to help if he needed anything. Asked him for help to meet his wife, been hidden in his late father's grave. Before Lewis left prison, he first went to the bathroom to get the rest of the hair that was on Adrian's comb. It seems Lewis deliberately saved the hair for the crimes he would commit later. A few days later, a former police commander named Manuel came to see Adrian on a visit. Because he knows that Adrian was in the same cell as Lewis, and he wants to get information about Lewis from Adrian. Adrian said that he was not very close to Lewis, but he thinks Lewis is just an ordinary and innocent person. Actually, a very heinous and manipulative, pure and innocent person in front of his victims. Manuel knows this because he once tried to save one of the victims from a fire that was deliberately set by Lewis, even though in the end the victim did not survive. Manuel tried to arrest Lewis, but so far there has never been any solid evidence or witnesses. Lewis's wife always does everything possible to help Lewis find his victims and release them from prison. because he had entrusted his wife and daughter to Lewis.
Qui me dit que vous n'êtes pas échappé d'un asile?
Ce n'est pas moi. Si quelque chose vous revient.
On the other hand, a female police officer named Claire is conducting an operation with her team to arrest a drug dealer. Claire disguised herself as a prostitute to confirm the target, and once she was sure that the man was her target, she immediately ordered her team to go into an ambush. At the time the arrest was made, a shootout between drug dealers and the police ensued. But the drug dealer man was easily defeated by Claire, who was already on guard in the bathroom. Meanwhile, Adrian looks confused and worried because he keeps thinking about the safety of his beloved wife and daughter. When Adrian was doing his job as usual, a prison warden and 3 inmates deliberately threatened him because they were after the money he stole. Adrian was again involved in a fight with 3 inmates and the prison warden.
Un peu d'intimité, s'il te plaît.
Putain les gars, vous êtes 3 là!
Luckily, Adrian managed to beat them all and took the opportunity to escape from prison disguised as a warden. Shopping at a supermarket to find a girl time, Lewis and his wife saw the news about Adrian escaping from prison.
Désolée, il faut que j'y aille. C'est pas grave.
Lewis's wife looked worried because she was afraid that Adrian would sure that Adrian would not hurt them.
Et dangereux.
Tranquille, la police a de bonnes infos maintenant.
Qu'est-ce qu'il va faire? Tu crois qu'il va comprendre?
J'ai tout prévu.
Lewis Adrian's daughter and taken her with them. After that, a man who became a police commander named Luciana asked Claire and her team to find because her team was solving a drug ring arrest case. But because the commander forced her to take up Adrian's case, Claire had no other choice. Apartment to meet his wife and child. Thought that Anna had gone to take their Anna, that he would be looking for them soon. The place. At first, they didn't find Adrian. Like it had just been written on the table. Finding Adrian, Claire immediately pointed her in the building.
Police, ouvrez! Tu bouges pas.
Realizing this, Adrian's heart immediately broke after that. Adrian immediately contacted Lewis, for now Adrian's daughter was still safe with him. Hurt the child.
Il est là! Arrête-toi!
However, Adrian managed to escape the window and fled onto a speeding train. Grave to check if the money was still there. Instead, finds Anna's body in the tomb. After that, Lewis turned off by leaving Adrian's DNA, along with the clothes that Lewis deliberately framed Adrian, so that the of the girl he had killed earlier was Adrian. Where Adrian had been hiding after the robbery. The location where Adrian was hiding were burned at that place. One of the girls who officer named Thomas. And Thomas, who happened to then suspected Adrian as the perpetrator of the doubts that Adrian could do such a heinous thing,
Le type qui a fait ça, c'est un monstre.
did was the robbery he committed last time. More information about Lewis, so he can find them. Secretly conducting private investigations to solid evidence. Previously, Manuel had received murder, but the DNA found in these victims was phone number which he had previously contacted. Phone number by sneaking into the nearest police. Manuel was at the police station. Adrian, who sounded police sirens, and he began to realize Adrian immediately slipped away from that place. Asked 2 other police officers to put down their framed, and that the real culprit for all this is immediately ran away. Fortunately, Manuel arrived to car. As a result of gunfire from the police, sacrificed himself so that Adrian could escape containing the area where Louis lived to Adrian. Immediately went to the destination using a pharmacy in the area because Adrian remembered a medicine and would feel very panicked if Claire also begins to investigate all the files is not a serial killer. She remembers that before gun, but Adrian had absolutely no intention of at a market with Adrian's daughter.
Tu dois m'aider, Christine.
Excusez-moi.
Around this area, Louis's wife tried to persuade Clinic. Although the girl was hesitant at first, a little girl and thought that they were not place.
C'est vraiment très gentil. Hein.
Mais qu'est-ce que ça peut vous faire?
The girl begins to realize that she is the girl managed to escape into a forest and to find the girl and killed her right away. After driving for quite a while in a residence which is located in a villa on a hill, the villa and managed to find his daughter, because she begins to suspect Louis as a serial Louis's files. Adrian felt very relieved and happy, unfortunately, when Adrian and his daughter were suddenly appeared with rifles. Fortunately, Claire at Louis. However, Louis managed to shoot Claire to chase Adrian and his daughter. Adrian ran up the hill to hide his daughter from Louis. Louis's wife and rushed to catch up with Adrian. Immediately shoots Adrian with a rifle in front of to survive by holding onto a tree branch at the Louis intends to shoot Adrian dead, but the action and Luciana try to save Adrian. However, Thomas, the victim of Louis's murder, suddenly appeared who raped and killed his daughter was Adrian. To find the bodies of Adrian and Louis, but Claire visits Adrian's daughter at an orphanage. Daughter receives a letter in the form of a sketch by Adrian. This film teaches us the most basic of strangers and not to easily trust people.